Hey guys, Yanni back with you here. Today it's finally the spring. We're coming into some nice days around here. I've had a couple of requests for this video, so I'm super excited to bring it to you. We're going to do tail as turn install on the 4Runner from Diode Dynamics. It's a pretty easy install, but it should be a lot of fun. Let's get to it. Alright, so a small disclaimer. I know it's been a while since we put out a video, but up here in upstate New York, it gets really cold in the winters, and I do not have a heated garage. I did just now at the end of season sale buy a giant salamander heater, so hopefully next year that's not a problem. But I know it's been a while. I appreciate you guys sticking with us. It's a lot of fun for me to do these, so I miss when I don't get that opportunity. So I'm really excited that spring's here. We're finally getting some nice days and we can really get some good videos out to you. So, tail is turned. Let's get started. Basically, right in here is your array of LEDs that are just brake lights normally, right, or tail lights. And then this big white section is your turn signal with a yellow bulb, an amber bulb inside. And then reverse is down here, little reverse light, and so your turn signal is this orange bulb that's up here normally. So I did two things. I did the tail is turn, which now takes your tail and brake lights LED array and makes that your turn signal. And I put an additional reverse light in here that's the brightest one that I could get from Diode Dynamics. So I'll show you guys how to do all that, wiring the resistor, all those things. First thing we got to do is get this tail lamp out. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I've got this leather that covers the entire cargo area to keep my dogs from scratching the underneath and just sort of protecting everything in the back. I throw wood in here, there's chips of wood, there's all kinds of stuff. So to protect the sides from the dogs scratching at it and everything else, we've got this leather. So first I'll unvelcro this. And now you can see there's a nice little door right here. This is the door for your jack, and next to it, this little door will get us into behind the tail light. So we'll grab a little plastic tool and pop that off. Alright, so I prefer to use plastic. I've got a couple different types of plastic tools. In fact, I think the Diode Dynamics will send you some of these when you order their kit. Either way, it's best to use plastic. You won't mar the surface here. You can just use a regular flathead screwdriver, but you're probably going to mar the plastic. So, anyway, we'll work our way around here. We'll pop this guy off. Okay, just like that. It pops off from inside the vehicle, and there are hooks that go around behind it. Okay, let's see if we can get you in close here. So, inside here, there are two bolts, one here, I don't know if you can see that, one down there, as well as one up here. But they're little studs that have 10mm nuts on them, so we'll grab our socket and we'll get those off. I'm using a 1/4" drive ratchet that's got a long handle on it as well as a deep well socket. It just makes it a little easier to get in there. Now you have to be careful though, because once you break these free, the last thing you want to do is drop them down inside the car. So that would really cause trouble. I'm going to go ahead and unplug that tail light first as well, just to get this cable a little bit more out of my way. Stuff that in there. There we go. Once I get these nuts going, I prefer to do them by hand afterwards, just so that I can make sure I've got a good grip on it. Toyota did a really nice job making these studs very long, even after the threads, so that once you're done unthreading the nut, it's not just going to fall off. So they did try to help you out, but you do still need to be careful. There we go. Okay, so both the studs are free. Now we just got to get the light out. We've unplugged the wiring harness from here. Now next, we'll pop this lamp out. Okay, so to get this out, now that we've got those bolts off, really what I usually do is I just kind of come over here and pull from on the top here. You can see it's already a little bit loose. Then I take my hand, I'm going to take my watch off so I don't damage or scratch the lens or the car, and I use the pad of my hand to swing back and hit the lamp at the same time. We're trying to convince it to pop off. It's not always easy to do. Some are on there pretty tight. I've seen some that take a lot of work to get them off. I've seen some that pop right out like there's nothing to it. The key is do not stick anything in here between the light and the body to try to pry the light out. Bad idea. You'll definitely chip or scratch your paint. Let me just bring it over here so you see what I'm talking about. See this right here? This is no. We do not put screwdrivers. I don't even care if it's a plastic tool. Don't put it in here or anywhere to pry on the light. You're very likely going to cause damage. This is already a rolled edge in the metal, which means the paint is already really weak right here. So don't do it. If you have to, I'll show you another technique, but let's try it this way first. Avoid doing any of that prying. So we'll pull on the light, give it a couple bangs. There you go. Look at that. One shot. Okay? Bingo. Oh, hit a stick from one of our off-road adventures. So the reason that is difficult sometimes to get undone, there's a few clips in here. Let me see. I don't know if I can show you this in the light. Can you see that? Sort of. Let me get better light for you. Okay. Can you see in there? Maybe. Alright, so sort of. In here, right here, just next to the connector for the lower bulb, there's a squeeze clip that squeezes on a piece that's inside the car, as well as there's some alignment pins here, and on the top that wraps around the side, there's a clip right here that this slides on, so you cannot, the light sits like this, you cannot pry it off this way, okay? That will break that clip. You need to pull it straight back. There are pins that guide it straight back, and there's a few different places that it actually clips in to the body, so it can be a little difficult, but make sure you pull straight back or you will break something. Okay? Now, if you have a stubborn light, let me show you what else you can do. Basically, you see these two big holes right here? Those go right through the body, right to the tail light. Okay? So, very carefully, what you can do is, if you take and remove, just by rotating counterclockwise, the lower bulb and maybe the upper bulb if you really need help, but at least the lower bulb, take it off, get everything out of the way. Remember, the clip is right here next to that bulb. So what you can do is, if you take that bulb and get it out of the way, now you've got a nice flat surface here. Don't use like a screwdriver or a pry bar or anything like that that's got a point on the end, because you'll likely crack the plastic housing of the light. But if you use a little block of wood or something like that that's going to sort of distribute the force to the socket and that area there, and just bump it with your hand. Don't hit it with a hammer, just bump with your hand a few times while you are pulling on the light the other way. Just try to give it a good couple whacks with a block of wood and it'll come undone. Be patient. These can be stubborn. Mine came out pretty easy, but they can be a real whirlwind. So another thing I did just before you got here, sort of, is this is a higher powered reverse light bulb, regular reverse light, the lower one, also from Diode Dynamics. So I upgraded my lower factory reverse light bulb. Okay, and that, all you do, again, you turn it counterclockwise to undo it. It's just a direct replacement bulb. You pull the other one out, put this one in, everything's good to go. Up here, I also upgraded this light to be a very bright reverse light from Diode Dynamics. So again, rotate clockwise, we pull it out, and you can see that's a big LED light, right? And it's ridiculously bright. I love it. This was your turn signal bulb, an amber bulb that came out of here. And basically you just pull this guy out, pull out the amber bulb, you can put this guy in, and then once we finish the wiring, you've got a super bright reverse light. So you actually get two reverse lights. You've made the factory one brighter, and you've added a second one that's ridiculously bright. So this is an awesome upgrade. I love it so far. So and then we'll turn these LEDs into our turn signal. So let's go ahead and bring this over to our bench and get going. Alright, so by bench, of course, I meant cart, right? So what we have here is the wiring harness from Diode Dynamics, okay? Their tailless turn reverse kit. It comes with a resistor wired in. That's awesome. You don't have to worry about wiring in a resistor like you do if you change your front turn signals to switchback LEDs, which I did. We will do a future video on that, explaining how to wire in this resistor. But it comes wired in. So all you have is a plug-and-play system. If you are not upgrading your existing turn signal to a high-power reverse light, then you're done. You can just take this as it comes from them, from the factory, you plug it into the LED array, and then the stock plug from the truck plugs into this pass-through, and you are done. You can neatly wire this up, or tidy this up, and stick it back in the hole, and you're good to go. But I did choose to upgrade my reverse lights, so I had to do a little bit of a modification, and to do that, on the plug that goes into the taillight, not the plug on the truck, the plug that goes into the taillight array, you take this black wire, and just to make it easily disconnectable in case I ever change my mind, I crimped on a connector to this black wire, and then I just used a vampire connector, which is very simple. Basically all you do with this, I'll just disconnect it so you can see. If you need help crimping wires on, I did another video with the ditch light install, which walks you through in more detail how to do some of that stuff. But this is just another vampire type clamp. Those other ones were parallel clamps. This is a vampire clamp. So basically what happens is in here you get a piece of metal that will bite on this wire when you crimp this closed. So you put it over the wire, you crimp this closed until it clicks. Now you've got a little piece of metal biting into this wire, so there's barely any exposure of metal from the wire. This is also an internal mod. It's not going to get salty with our New York State salt water in the winter, those types of things. So really all we need to do now is take the male spade connector from the black wire in the plug connector, and we take this guy. I don't know, can you see this? Okay, so out of the black wire you got a male spade connector. I put a little vampire clip on the green wire. Okay, green wire. Then the black wire gets hooked up to the green wire. Okay, make sure you get a good connection. Here I'm not using a ton of dielectric grease or electrical tape or a bunch of those types of things that I used in previous videos, like the ditch light install, because those are exterior accessories and this is an interior accessory. This will never see the elements or the weather, so I'm not worried about it. But one thing I do want to do is this is the resistor is metal. Okay, and so I don't want that rattling around in the back. You'll get a terrible rattle against the body if you leave this way. So I'll show you what I did to make this rattle resistant in the back of the truck. So basically you didn't have to take the light out. I did it just because I thought you did. It also made things a heck of a lot easier, I think. But you could make this system, depending on your configuration, and change the bulbs with the light, the tail light in the truck. Changing the bulbs is a little bit difficult with it in the truck, just because these are longer bulbs than the stock. The original bulbs, let me just see if I have, look like this. Okay, so what happens is this guy is quite a bit taller than that guy. Can you see that? So in the truck it's a little bit difficult to get enough space to get this turned so that it can go in the hole and then be locked in place. So it is, I think, easier to take this light out. If you wind up banging on it and smashing around and you can't get this out to change the bulbs, then you can find a way, I'm sure, to do it with it in the truck. But I thought it was easier to do this one. So let's put the light back in the truck. We'll get this rattle resistant, and we'll get it going. Alright, so we've got the light, we put the bulbs in, we're good to go. We're going to put it back in the truck. That clip that I showed you earlier that's on this outside wing has to line up with this little white connector. So take your time, be careful. Just like we talked about, you have to pull it straight back. You have to install it straight in. You can't try to go this way and all this kind of stuff. Straight in. Just make sure you kind of use your eye to see where it's going. There is a little bit of a lead in, so it should help you out, but be careful. You want to keep pushing. Don't go crazy. Just push until you feel it snap into place, and then give it a little wiggle. Make sure it's not going to come out, and you should be fine. So here we go. Okay. It is going to be a little bit loose because we still need to put the nuts back on, but it's in there, it's not going anywhere, we're in the clips. So now we'll put the nuts back on and then we'll do the rest of the wiring. Don't snug these up super duper tight, just make them snug. They don't have to go crazy. Okay, now we take our wiring harness, right? Can you see this? So now you've got the stock plug that comes from the truck. You've got a male and a female plug from the kit from Diode Dynamics. So all we do is, if you didn't have the whole resistor thing, everything else going on, and turning this into reverse, if you were just doing the stock as it was, you would plug it in, away you go. We did that little bit of wiring. Now, the concern is with this metal resistor, you're going to get a rattle, right? If you leave that in there, there's tons of stuff there, tons of wires. So we could zip tie this up, but there's still a lot of factory wire. Chances are you're going to wind up knocking into some stuff. So let's head back over to the cart, and I'll show you how I handled it. Okay, hopefully you can see this, right? This is our okay, this is that resistor that we talked about, right? So the first thing I'm going to do, just to clean this up, is put a couple of little zip ties on here just to try to bring stuff together. Be careful. These, where they're heat shrink in there, don't wiggle those back and forth very much or you will break them off. It's very, very fragile metal that's used for the ends of these resistors. It's not meant to be bent back and forth very much at all. So bend it once. I kind of bent these two into a loop, so you know, go ahead, bend them in a loop, whatever you want to do, but don't bend these back and forth very much, just enough, okay? So I'll get a couple of little zip ties, we'll put them on there, and we'll show you what's next. I'm going to use the holes actually in the resistor and just feed it through the holes, feed it through some of the wiring. It doesn't have to be perfect, just do whatever works, whatever makes it look good, whatever makes it look clean, right? Maybe I'm not going to use the holes of the resistors. We'll just do the wires. Okay, it's okay to bend these red wires. That's okay. That's just wiring. You'll be fine. But I wouldn't bend the tines of the resistor very much at all. In fact, what I'm going to do is strap a couple of these resistor or these zip ties together. I'm going to get some bigger ones. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to get some bigger ones. Okay, and we're going to go all the way around the resistor, all the way around this little termination block. Squeeze everything right together. Okay, there's one. Sounds like my old diesel Dodge Ram going by out there. Kind of miss that sound now. Okay, so we've got that. We'll snip these off. It is a Cummins Ram. How about that? Okay. just like that. Now we've got this nice neat little package. Now this can still rattle against all these wires are going to be floating around in there. Things are going to be dangerous. So what I did is not dangerous in terms of safety, just dangerous in terms of rattling. So I went to my local big box store and I picked up this. Okay, this is pipe insulation. Okay, it's cheap. I picked up 3/4. I don't think it really matters what size you get, as long as it's big enough to go over the resistor and the wiring and all that good stuff. So they come in these big tubes. You can buy the fancy stuff that's already got, you know, pre-split and got tape so that you can seal it back up, all that jazz. Not a problem. I don't care. I'm just going to cut off a little section of this right here. Boom. Cover all that stuff up. I may use zip ties or electrical tape. I haven't decided yet to close it up. So I am just going to grab a razor. Say about right there. Okay. And just start cutting my way through. I'm sure if you had scissors this would be easier too. My scissors seem to be gone, so we're going with a razor blade. Same difference. So, there we go. There we go. Bingo. Alright? Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be fancy, just something to get you through. Cut a slit in it, or just rip it apart as long as you can rip a relatively straight line. Then we take the resistor and all of the wiring, and we're going to put it right inside here. Okay? And then we're going to wrap that up. Look at that, huh? Nice foam thing, no rattling around there. So, could use zip ties, could use electrical tape, could use a combination of both. I guess I'll start here with zip ties and just see how well that goes, and we'll make a decision after that. So, I think if we kind of zip tie sort of past the end so it squeezes it, almost like, you know, the little candies, how they roll the wrappers at the end, you know, like what are those ones called? Those Tootsie Rolls, right? Yeah, Tootsie Rolls, chocolate ones, right? So if you just if you go just on both sides of that resistor, right, then when you cinch these zip ties up, see what it does? It keeps them good and tight. He's not going to go anywhere. That's a little open, more open than I might want, but I think it will be just fine. Worst case, grab a little electrical tape around him, and we're good to go. So I guess I'll do that just so we have total protection from rattling, because I don't know about you guys, but I usually cruise around with the tunes jamming and having a good time, but sometimes I just need a nice quiet ride home, and if there's something rattling, it drives me totally crazy. So I try to avoid that as much as I can. So I'll grab some electrical tape. My green stuff from Christmas is gone, so I've got the regular 3M black here. Okay. And we just kind of wrap them up good. That resistor is a giant heat sink. It will get warm. It's not going to get... This stuff is made for hot water pipes and stuff, right? So don't worry. It's not going to melt the stuff and start you on fire or any of that crazy thing. But, you know, it's an understandable concern. I'm not worried about it. There we go. That thing, as long as the connectors don't hit the wall, no rattles there, okay? So, now we'll head back over and install it. Alright, so we got the wiring harness, we got the light in. It's simple from here, right? We just take the plug from the truck, plug it into the female from the wiring kit, we take the male, we plug it into the light. Bingo, we're done, right? We package this in here. I'm just going to zip tie this up so that, you know, everything is nice and neat in here. Bingo, bango. Dunzo. Alright, let me grab a zip tie and we'll finish it out. Okay, got my last zip tie of this length, so that's perfect timing. So, all I'm going to do here is kind of put this together, throw a zip tie all the way around, ship it. Ta-da! Okay. Bingo. Not going to worry about a rattle in there. We're good to go. So, we reinstall this plate. We just simply kind of turn it into the corner, push it till it clips, and we're done. Now, for me, I just have to re-velcro my leather cover here for the dogs. Okay. Bingo. That easy. Okay, so what did that take? I don't know, 10, 15 minutes maybe, something like that, just because we kind of went the extra mile with all the insulation and all that stuff. So easy, easy, and amazing. Great thing to do. So let me get you out here and just run you through the lights so you can see the difference. Having that second reverse light is just phenomenal. I mean, the backup camera, it's night and day. So I absolutely recommend doing both, upgrading your regular reverse light as well as the mega reverse light, I'll call it, that takes the place of your turn signal. So let's get you out here and I'll run you through the lights. Alright guys, there we go. Tailless turn plus super duper reverse in like 15 minutes. You would do exactly the same thing on the other side, so maybe it takes you half an hour. You're probably faster over there because now you know how to do it. So really super simple install. Diode Dynamics did an excellent job making this one very easy on us. And I love the conversion. It's great. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's been amazing, especially in the pitch black trying to back up. And if you're all by yourself, this thing makes a world of difference. So a little bit of money for that extra reverse light, especially the really bright one, but totally worth it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave some comments if you got any questions, or let us know if there's something else you want to see how to do.